3 seconds. That's exactly how long Pam Bondi hesitated. Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove asked her a simple question: is Director Patel an honest person? Yes or no? A simple answer. And the United States Attorney General sat there silently for 3 full seconds. The cameras captured everything. The hesitation. The calculation. That moment when she knew her answer would be erased in seconds. Subscribe now and press the bell, because this change is a masterclass in trapping a witness with their own words. Finally, he said yes. Of course, honestly. And then Kamlager-Dove did something devastating. She didn't argue. She didn't debate. She just read a list. 6 documented lies. 6 times Patel demonstrably said something false. 6 pieces of evidence showing that the person Bondi had just sworn in had zero credibility. And one of those lies had been proven false by Bondi's own office. House Judiciary Committee. Sidney Kamlager-Dove from California. Someone who doesn't waste time on procedural niceties when accountability is at stake. She had watched for hours as Bondi deflected and attacked. She had seen the Attorney General refuse to answer honestly about Patel's actions. The pattern was clear. Bondi would do anything except admit that Patel had lied. That's why Kamlager-Dove decided to go public. To ask the question that would expose the entire relationship. To force Bondi to either admit that Patel had lied or defend the indefensible. But first, he set the trap. He didn't start with the question of honesty. He started with a specific case. One so clear, so well documented that even Bondi couldn't spin it. That hold note. On Patel's desk. Seen on camera. Kamlager-Dove knew that. And he knew something else. Bondi's office had the documents related to that note. That meant Bondi knew, officially, legally, in court, how the FBI had covered up the truth. The evidence was documented. The pattern was clear. Patel's lie could be proven. And Bondi knew it. He had to know. It was his office's case. It wasn't true, Kamlager-Dove said, looking directly at Bondi. And you know it's not true. Otherwise, you wouldn't be defending him. Perfect framing. Bondi's own procedural decision proved Patel was lying. There was no wiggle room. Then Kamlager-Dove expanded. Do you know what else Patel said? He didn't wait for an answer. He started reading. Every lie was documented. Each one is provable. He said he didn't keep the Crossfire Hurricane documents. Wrong. First lie. There are emails. It says hold. His own signature. He said that note was personal. Wrong. Second lie. FBI internal documents use the same word. System. He said he was transparent to the American people. False. Third lie. The documents are still classified. No one can see them. He said he didn't know about the FBI memos saying Crossfire Hurricane was baseless. Wrong. Fourth lie. Those memos are in his own files. He said he classified them for national security. Wrong. Fifth lie. His own meeting notes say institutional integrity. He said he acted independently. Wrong. Sixth lie. The White House memo incriminates him. Now pause and feel the weight of this moment. Kamlager-Dove wasn't speculating. He was reading documented lies. What Patel said is provably, demonstrably false. And he did it calmly. Like a shopping list. Because that's what it was. A list of lies. Too many, he said, too many to keep track of. That statement hit home. Not just a few lies. Too many to keep track of. An overwhelming volume of dishonesty. And that's when Kamlager asked the question. Attorney General Bondi, do you believe Director Patel is honest? A simple question. The kind that requires an immediate answer. Bondi hesitated. 3 full seconds. At the congressional hearing. When asked if the FBI director was honest, the Attorney General couldn't immediately say yes. Consider what that hesitation revealed. She knew the answer was complicated. She knew Patel was lying. She knew the question was a trap. But he couldn't say no. Under oath, before Congress, he couldn't admit the director was dishonest. So he said what he had to say. Of course I believe him. But then he added, he's the FBI director. As if the position conferred honesty. As if holding office meant you couldn't lie. If you're watching, press the like button because what comes next is why Kamlager's strategy is so destructive. Kamlager didn't argue with Bondi's response. She just went back to the evidence. To the list of lies she had already read. And he asked a follow-up question, Attorney General Bondi, do you admit that Director Patel wrote that hold note? Either Bondi admits it, which proves the note is real. Or he denies it, which amounts to denying his own office's documents. Bondi chose the third option, I'm not familiar with that matter. Hold on. Let that answer sink in. The United States Attorney General claims to be unfamiliar with a note caught on camera by the FBI director. Either Bondi genuinely doesn't know what the FBI director did, which is a striking incompetence. Or she knows and is lying, which makes her as untrustworthy as the director she defends. Either way, the answer destroyed her credibility. Kamlager didn't lose tempo. This is a disappointing response. And that is why your office and Director Patel have zero credibility. Zero credibility. Not diminished. Not questionable. Zero. Because the Attorney General guaranteed his honesty immediately after being presented with the evidence. When he claimed he didn't know the statements his own office knew about. He had no credibility left. Subscribe if you want to follow this story. Because this isn't just a trial. It's about how the system works. Then Kamlager expanded. To show this wasn't just about a lie. A pattern. A systemic problem. You deleted the data, he said. FBI reports showed Crossfire Hurricane was flawed. But that data disappeared. Not to update methodology. It contradicted the political narrative. You prevented the American people from seeing it. This isn't just dishonesty. It's abandoning your duty. Kamlager ended with 2 words. Do better. Command. Expectation. The statement that defending Patel's lies, deleting data, ignoring evidence, is beneath the office he holds. Within minutes, the clip exploded. 3 seconds of hesitation. 6 proven lies. 0 credibility. Millions of views. Because this wasn't just a change. It was a revelation. A revelation of how the system works. Loyalty really is more important. Position trumps honesty. And lies no longer matter. Kamlager's strategy was perfect. First, a specific lie, that hold note. Then read the list, 6 proven lies. Then ask the simple question, are you honest? Then catch the hesitation, 3 seconds. Then declare 0 credibility. And Bondi was cornered more and more with each step. Because evidence doesn't lie. And that 3-second hesitation said it all. Don't miss this story. Subscribe and watch to see if the truth still matters. Share it. Because democracy depends on informed citizens. And Kamlajurdov taught us something: ask questions. Demand evidence. And never ignore that 3-second hesitation.